Oh my God, that hurt my ears. Sorry about that. Wow, that hurt. Hey, hello. Hello, everybody. Let's see. Here we go with a big latency issue again. Can I fix that? Nope. Okay. Hey, Lewis. Again? Hold on. I cannot figure out why it went on.
As it should. Okay. That better? Hey, Rich. Okay. Yeah, I save it and it doesn't. I don't know. I must be doing something wrong. That would be the first time. Sorry about that. Nah, it wouldn't be the first time. Second. So we have Mr. Mick, we got Billy Ray, we got Lewis, we got Bay Area Rich, we got Peggy, and Russell. All right. All right. It's only six here. There you go. So, how is everybody today? Hope everybody had a good Easter yesterday. I know I did. Why is the question mark before the question on that? Wow. I'm still learning. So that wouldn't be that, wouldn't be that. That'd be down there. Hmm. Oh well. I will figure it out later. Okay. Not time to do it before the show or during the show. Time to do it before the show. Today you learned about a band new to you, so you're teaching neighbors. Yeah, that's great because when I listen to Black Sabbath or Metallica or Ozzy or pretty much anything, my neighbors listen to it too. So, so I'm hoping that they acquire a taste for metal. Well, of course, let's see. That would be the front of the house. So the neighbor that lives right over here on this side of me is the original drummer for Wild Cherry. And if you remember, play that funky music. Mad Hatter. DJ. What's happening, guys? So I was hoping that Greasy Monkey would get in here right away because I was correct. And I had, no, not Casey and the Sunshine Man. I did have, so I now actually have the final song until this coming winter, late fall and winter. And I wanted to show something here because oh wait a minute. I gotta cross that out. Hold on, hold on. Do-do-do-do-do. Got that crossed out. Okay, so um So I did have one song left, and I got the song back late Saturday night. But what I did was actually I took a song that I wrote. Well, we recorded it 37 years ago. I actually wrote it a year before that. So the song is 38 years old. And I re-recorded it. The way I wish I would have done it then. Now, it was never recorded with Kevin. And I'll show you the thing, part of it here. The guy, there are 5 photos. The guy in the middle was the singer. Greasy, there he is. The guy in the middle was the singer that the record company had us get because the other guy they didn't like. And he could not sing this song the way I wanted it done. And then after he was gone is when we got Kevin. And then I always wanted to redo it with Kevin, but never did. So here is the song, the words to it highlighted in green. You can see me up there at the highest up top corner. And the song is called All the King's Men. Now, it was kind of a Dio type song on here. It really was. So I redid everything. I wrote different music. So I'm guitar, bass, solo. He added the background vocals. Now, here's the thing. I'm thinking that I think he may have overdone it a little bit on the background vocals. You know, his choir, and for all I know, it's only 2 girls singing. Who knows? But he make it sound like 50. But I had Chris King has heard it, and Chris is like, "Yeah, it sounds pretty good. So don't worry about it." But Greasy, I'm glad you're here because I recorded this with your mirrored guitar. So this is a complete remake of a song I wrote 38 years ago. So here it is. And remember, it's kind of, well, this version is not as Dio-ish as the original version was, but this still is, it's actually heavier. I did heavier stuff. So here we go. I'll let you guys hear it, and then we'll get to some questions and go over to the bench. So this is called All the King's Men. Now he added that. He added the keyboard and the girl's voice. I heard this and I thought, I heard that first part and I thought, man, this sounds like something from the movie The Crow. Waiting to see a crow fly by and land on Eric Draven's gravestone. Yes, it does, Greasy.
it, listen, you'll hear the dreaded cry. All the king's men, driven from within, fighting to survive, dying their only sin.
You read the words.
Their only thrills to kill. Shadows stand still. Out on the battle plains, their blood begins to spill. Yeah! Now as the smoke clears, the battle draws near. The sound of the screams, they seem to disappear. As the men ride away, the battlefield is cold. Alone in the corner, the king, he sits alone. All the king's men, driven from within, fighting to survive, dying their only sin, their only thrills to kill. Shadows stand still. Out on the battle plains, their blood begins to spill. All the king's men, driven from within, fighting to survive, dying their only sin, their only thrills to kill. Shadows stand still. Out on the battlefield, their blood begins to spill. Yeah!
So that song was actually from, I wrote it 38 years ago. Hammer of the North. Thank you. But I wanted to, I was hoping Greasy would show up because that is that guitar. I actually had it in D, and then I put another set of strings on it, so now it's back to E standard. So, but it is called All the King's Men. Thank you, Derek. Yeah, no, I mean, that's how I really wanted to record it then in 89, is when we recorded that song. The other stuff on there was recorded in 1990. But I wanted to do it that heavy then, and I had it in my head, but I couldn't get it out the way I wanted. Do not look up Nightcore. Okay. So I couldn't get it out the way I wanted it, and because before it was like done, it was more like All the King's Men, Dying from Within. You know, it was more of a, it was faster before, and the guitars weren't as heavy. It was actually, there was more of a melody, a vocal melody to it with him singing. That's why that picture was different, because they had paid for us to have our photos done, and then when we got him, they didn't do it. So I forget how someone just took his picture and we had to send it in. They put it on in the inside cover. So we're all sitting in a chair and he's not. So no notification again. Man, that's terrible. Yeah, so again, that guitar through The Invader 150 through the full stack. Total brutality. Cheryl, did you hear that? Did you get to hear that song? Now, there was I don't know if I can. Yeah, see, I'm only limited to how much I can put in the chat. Even on here, I believe. Hold on. Hold on, let me look. And if I can do this, well, I might break it up into 3 sections. Maybe I might be able to do that. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do this. One. It's probably going to tell me that I can't do that. But I really like how it turned out because it's more like I initially wanted. 38. Oh, didn't do it in. Now it didn't break it all up. Put it on a paragraph. Hold on. God dang it. Well, I wonder if I could just do this. Hold on. Nope. Wrong one. There's no way I can zoom that out, though. Just have to do. No, I have to go back here and do it. Hold on. I'm working on it, guys. Because it would be nice to give you guys the words. And you could kind of follow it. Bigger so I could see it. So today, yes, today I'm going to work on the Les Paul Jr. fretboard, and frets need a little work on it. Bear with me here, please. And I didn't even change because there was, when this was written then, and I couldn't, it said that on the last 2 lines of the second verse are, their souls will never die, just one dreaded listen. And then the last line is, you'll hear their dreaded cry. I hated using the word dreaded twice. But at the time, I couldn't come up with anything else. I didn't want to change it. You know, that, I mean, I already changed the music basically completely different. Because before it was an E standard. Let me get, I'm separating all this so I can do it. But yeah, I was, the whole DO thing. I was listening a lot to like Last in Line and all that stuff. And you kind of, he was into the dungeons, the dragons, the wizards, and all that stuff. So, okay, so what I'll have to do, I think I can do 2 at a time here. Okay. Well, I didn't ask. You guys want to hear it again? Because I think I can do it. Yeah, I didn't, Lewis, I wish you were around 38 years ago. Okay, so let me see if both these. Okay, so you're going to have to. Should come up, right? Maybe. Oh, wait a minute. Why are you guys not seeing it? It's not. Okay, well, I have to do it on this side then. God dang it. Because I put it in here. What's it telling me? Too many words? Oh, can you see that on the screen? I guess I can try it that way. You have, God dang it. Everything in the world gave me pop out chat, then it was showing like a bunch of pages over here. Okay. All right. So let me get to the next section, which will be the course. So you're going to have to don't have the bouncing ball, but you have to follow along with it. So, all right. And here we go. Now think of a crow flying and landing on Eric Draven's tombstone and start pecking at it.
In the days of old, lived kings and queens. In a land of dragons, wizards, and dreams. Men wore suits of steel, riding stallions of stone, fighting for their honor in a world to call their own. Across the fields of blood, you'll hear the swords clash. You'll hear their shields kingsmen, driven from within, fighting to survive, dying their only sin, their only thrills to kill, shadows stand still, out on the battle plains, their blood begins to spill. All the kingsmen, driven from within, fighting to survive, dying their only sin, their only thrills to kill, shadows stand still, out on the battlefield, their blood begins to spill. Yeah.
So there you go. And you got to read the words with it. Let's see. All right, there we go. Yeah, I wish it would have turned out that way then. Well, you know, I'm working on MPN to move over here. Try a game to at least Pittsburgh. So yeah, that was again. Thank you, Jeff. That was done. I wrote it 38 years ago. We recorded it 37 years ago, and then just in the last month, a little over a month, I redid it. And actually, I thought there was one more. That was it, but I didn't remember sending it to him. So, but I don't understand in the back the background vocals, like when they're saying when he sings a line, then it's like bo. I have no idea what they're saying, if they're even saying anything right there. All that was added. The keyboard in the beginning was added. So it just, and I sent that to Jeff, the bass player who was on the actual recording 37 years ago. And he's like, you know, what's weird is, you know, we did that on tape, and this here sounds so much better than that did 37 years ago. And, you know, I didn't have to pay for this. So thank you, Cheryl. Thank you. Yeah, Brian. Thank you, Mad, Jeff. Everybody, thank you. But I wanted Greasy to hear that because that is on one of my, those two right there are my holy soloist, my holy grail soloist, the Red Crackle and the Mirrored. So thank you. Thank you guys very much. So before I go to bench, any questions? Derek, you got anything on your guitar? I had to thank you, man. Rich, I don't think you were here Saturday night, but I told a story about my Uncle Charlie and played the For Some Strange Reason song, and then told them that what you said the next time you go there, you were going to play that there. So again, thank you for that. No questions tonight. Okay. Lewis, how I learned. I could, but that would be. This channel is about guitar repair and getting everything going that way. That would have to be something different. I would do that with. But I mean, I took lessons when I was little. Then I took a little bit of classical lessons. I studied classical music in college. Yeah, Mr. Mick, I'll do that. And then I taught just basic beginning guitars for a while. And then I just stopped. And I mean, I don't think I could even read music anymore. It's been, 30 years, 35 years. So I just kind of just played with the guitar pretty much every day and figured stuff out that way too. So turn this down just a hair. Yeah, I just because my dad knew how to play, but he had no idea how to read music at all. So when he showed me, it was just the basic chords. And then I remember him buying, it was a Beatles songbook. It had what album was it? It had Something on it. There's Something in the Way She had She Came In Through the whatever that one, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window. So it had, but it was big note, easy guitar chord, and that was in the 70s. Yeah, Lewis, I did. And I spent a lot of time doing that. And what how I've talked about this before, you could pick the needle up, put it back, put the needle up, or rewind the cassette over and over again. And everybody did that. You have a different ear. So people were playing the same song, but playing it different ways. Now with YouTube, kids get on here today and learn. They watch one video, someone playing it, and they all sound the same. And I think that kind of robs creativity. It's taking it from them because they're not figuring out themselves. They're just watching someone say, "Oh, this is how you do this." Well, how do I played Bark at the Moon for years wrong. It sounded right, but that day I spent with Jakey Lee and Ray Gillen on their bus and at the show, I actually played the white Charvel with the black pickguard that he used in the Bark at the Moon video. Jake handed that to me, and I went on stage and played that with Badlands, Eric Singer, Ray Gillen. I can never remember the bass guy's name. And Jake went out to the soundboard, and we, I didn't know any Badlands songs because they only came out, I think, less than a week prior to that show. And I didn't even have it yet. So I just looked around, and Bark at the Moon was the last thing I wanted to play, but it came across my mind, and I spit it out like, Bark at the Moon. And they started laughing and said, well, okay. So we played it. We were done. Jake comes walking back up. I hand him the guitar. I said, how'd it go? He said, well, not bad. You played it wrong. Or it sounds good. You played it wrong. He said, but don't worry. Zach plays it wrong too. So it was just, and then he showed me, and I was playing it wrong. But yeah, it's, I think when anybody, not just kids, but anybody watches one person show you how to play it, if it's not the original writer of the music, it may not be right. So something to think about. And I think that robs the kids especially, of creativity, because they don't have to think about it. They just need to watch so and so. Oh, this is how you play it. Okay. Because there's so many ways to play Smoke on the Water. You got your bar chords, and then actually, if you watch Ritchie Blackmore, it's basically the same thing as The Man on the Silver Mountain, and there's a third song, but it's just. That's how Ritchie Blackmore plays it. Then you'll see people go play it that way, but it's also, if you do like okay, so that's that. Then there's Man on the Silver Mountain. So it's just, and it's funny because if you watch Ritchie play that back when he wrote it back then, that's how he does it. But you see other shows, he'll play it like everybody else learns it, with all the bar chords. So, dang it, let me take this off. So that's what ends up being. And if you just watch one person show you, they may show you wrong. It's close, but wrong. And then you spend however many years playing it. Yeah, isn't that Beethoven or Bach backwards? Something like that. It's been a while since I've heard it, but yeah. That's what I thought. Yeah. Well, that's like the song Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath is really, the ba-da-da is from a classical piece called Mars. And Geezer is a big classical music fan also. And he was sitting there trying to figure that out on the bass when Tony heard him, and then it became Black Sabbath. Yeah, Peggy, you're right. Everybody should have their own way of playing it. But what I'm saying is that if everybody learns from just one person, and then they're all going to play like that. So then we go from, all this diversity of the same song to now I hear, 500 people play it and it sounds exactly, because they all learn from one guy. So I'm not a big fan of the YouTube instruction. Unless you're going to watch a few different people show you, and then if you see different ways in there. But if you just find one guy and you're like, oh, this guy knows how to play everything, so I'll just learn everything from him, he may not be playing it right. I mean, you don't know. You never know. So it's just something to think about, See, I don't watch anybody, really. I did watch Ola for the longest time, but not for learning song. It was more or less the amps and the equipment, because he's a fan of Mesa, Engel, Diesel. He likes all the amps I like. So, it was watching him for the equipment and the comparisons more than learning how to play. So, and I can't do, on that One Night Eternal, the real fast parts, basically sweep picking, that took me forever to get that, where, 35 years ago, I could have done it no problem. I don't know how many times I went through that before I finally got it. So that's why this one I kind of take the David Gilmour approach. I have to anymore because I just can't. I can't do it. I take the David Gilmour approach of less is more. You know, less notes, not as fast, but try to put more feeling into them. And that's, believe it or not, a big challenge in the type of music I'm writing now, because a lot of it does call for very fast shredding. I can't do it. So I'm lucky enough to have Cole, my son-in-law, and a bunch of other guys that, you know, have played in bands or played with on stage with over the years who can still do it, are willing to step in and do it for me. So oh, there you go, Derek. And that, you know, that's the best way. I really think it is. Because I think if you learn to play by ear, how can I put this? If you learn to play by ear, at least most people I know who learn to play by ear play with more emotion. You know, they just literally play with more emotion because they're hearing things that if you just read the notes off a page, it's cut and dry. You know, you just do it. Where if you're playing by ear, I mean, like in that All the King's Men before, the original recorded 38 years ago was basically that. This one is up here, and then I'm adding the low E, so it's, then I do a lot of the third finger lift off to give that extra sound. So, and if, you know, some people pick it up and hear that and say, hey, well, first you're adding, you know, because if you do it like this, compared to add that top note in. So it ended up being heavier sounding. That's still in drop D. I put that one. The rest of these, all right, let me think before I say it. Those are all now in E standard, except for this one. Keep thinking I got the headphones on. This White Charvel soloist is actually in drop C. So this is what I leave this one in drop C. I don't really write much in drop C, but Cole's band, everything they do is in drop C, so I leave that here like this. That way when they bring 4 to 12 guitars for me to work on, he's got something to play. So drop C, E standard, drop D in the Warrior. So I think playing by ear is, I don't want to say better, but if you could merge the two to where you're a sight reader, sight player, and be able to cut that off and come in with what you hear and combine the two, I think that's the best. But you would be surprised at the famous musicians, famous bands that can't read music, and most of them learn how to play by ear. So now Cole, like I said, Cole's you got one being a master's from Berkeley, so he knows all the theory, all that stuff. And I used to have fun with him because I'd be like, "Hey, I'm doing this. You can't do that. Why can't I? Because it doesn't work. But it sounds good, you know." So I used to have some fun with him that way too. And then watch the video where MTV went through Eddie's studio. He's like, "It's theory, it's music theory, not fact." So this could be how it works, or you could change it. So, oh well. Now that's something. Tab. I could never read tab. That confused me like beyond belief. So I could never do it. I know guys who that's all they know. Let's see. Oh, on the way. What's today? The 6th, right? Wednesday, 7th. So the 8th would be Thursday. Cool. I have a package coming from T's Guitars that will be here on Thursday. Torsen is. Let me see if I still have that on here. Torsen sent me an email. Today. This probably won't all fit on there either. And he's sending some parts, donations. Dang it, does that every time. Well, I can just read it this way. He is sending 3 sets of T's 9x42 strings, 2 trem tips. I don't know if he means the trem bar, the color tips for the trem bar. It just says 2 trem tips, blade switch, 2 CTS fender pots, toggle switch and ring, a back plate, 2 single loaded pick guards, 1 Floyd Rose, 1 set of string ferrules. Here's one I've never seen. I didn't know. It must be something they're offering now. He's sending me 3 quad rail humbuckers, a toolkit, Fender 500 CTS pots, 2 high output humbuckers, a set of P90s, 1 hip shot replica hardtail bridge, 1 hum single loaded pick guard, 5 telly and Strat pick guards. I don't know if it's 5 of each or 5 total. 1 roasted maple neck Strat with stainless frets. 6 sets of tuners, and 1 pocket amp. So all that will be here Thursday. So thank you, Torsen. Thank all of you guys that's donated stuff. Thank you all. I'm not just saying that. I really do mean that. That's keeping everything going, and that's more important to me than making money trying to make money off the channel. So thank you, everybody. It means the world. So I don't know if it's coming. Usually, last time he sent parts, it came in the T's guitar box. He's going to send me a black Telly to do the hollow flash for that they will sell. So I'll do it, send it back to him in 2 or 3 days. And but he's not getting any till June, so it won't be till by the time he gets them in, they get everything sorted out. I'm going to say probably August. So look for a one-off custom T's Telecaster sometime, I'd say, in August. There you go. P-Draw, you got Kramer with quad rails in it. Yeah, he expect your package on 4/8. So there we go. I've never played a quad rail. None of my guitars have ever had that. So, but here's the thing: you guys are going to see me do the black Telly here on the show, and then I'll let you know. As soon as I'm done putting it back together, I'll send it back to him. So he should have it. If just for example, if I got it on a Monday, I'm probably sending it back to him by Wednesday, Thursday at the latest. And then they're supposed to list it for sale, or he talked about maybe even doing a auction on it. Now, I don't know how they do an auction on their website, which may do something else. I don't know. So, but yeah, so you'll have a chance to buy or win by auction the guitar that you'll see done on this show. So what I will do is probably sign in the neck pocket. So, Wednesday is the 8th? That's right. Yeah, I see the surgeon for my knees on Wednesday too, at 8 in the morning. So, all right, let's go to the bench. Oh, and as I promised Saturday, I did change the camera around. There you go. So you guys see it the way I'm looking at it. And to me, that looks more natural than what you guys were seeing everything backwards. Or upside down, I should say. So I hope that looks better for you guys. We're almost an hour into this and haven't been to the bench, so we'll go there now. But this guitar, it was never beat up like this. But when Cole was little, for some reason, my dad never stopped him from dragging it around. So the relic on this is over 30 years old. The guitar is 59 years old. No, the guitar is 67 years old. It's a 59. So the guitar is 67 years old. This relicing is probably 35 years old. And it is all original. So I know one of the tuners is bent. Yeah, this one. I was going to bend it back slowly. I was afraid it would snap it off. So it's still functional. It just As you can see, it's just kind of, those are original Gibson Deluxe, I guess. I already cleaned the pots out, and I'll show you again. Well, those guys are those of you who weren't here then. I don't know if Janice is lurking, so I don't want to rip her ears out, their earbuds. So I'll go manual screwdriver. This has a funky capacitor. It's all original. So this is what they were using. Look at that capacitor. That's all original 1959 wiring right there. So all I've ever done is just sprayed out the pots because they were dirty. And actually the volume pot at one time was very hard to turn. So I did clean those out. I mean, look at that capacitor. 50s technology. Now imagine the old ham radios back then with gigantic tubes and capacitors and all that stuff. Original soldering, original wire. Well, since I got it open, I will spray it real quick again, just to be on the safe side, because it has been hanging on the wall when I've done some work in here. All right. Put that back on so nothing happens to it. So my dad's had this guitar since it was new. This was the very first guitar I ever really played. There's photos of me as a baby with them sticking this on in my lap and me holding it, which is why I did the same thing to Cole with my Twilight Zone guitar. So you see how the neck, it was actually originally all this color, but you see how it wore down, color faded. But original fretboard and original frets. I'm going to take this off, clean it, I'll pull this P90 out, make sure it's okay underneath everything. I'll end up putting some new strings on it. I turned down $12,000 cash for this guitar. Guy came down here and actually laid 12 grand on my bar. He wanted this and the amp. I have the original amp for this too that he bought, and it's completely original and still works. You can see my dad played basically from here to here. See the dips. Played a lot of Johnny Cash. Wow. I was going to try to save these strings, but I don't think I am because they're kind of, I don't even know how long. Well, they're D'Addarios. I just don't know how long they've been on here. Oh, it is missing a dang it. I don't have any of those. There least none that would match this. And this is, there's no bridge per se, so it's a wrap over like that. So it's on an angle for some kind of intonation, even though it's not the best. But you can, wait, now those I didn't cut, so I can't get those through here. But you can, there is a little adjustment right here where you know it goes in there and you can back it out a little bit. That's all you got. Yeah, and the funny part was my dad bought this guitar. So think about this. Brand new Gibson Les Paul Jr. and a Gibson amp, tube amp that had two inputs, a volume, and a tremolo effect knob. For the grand total, brand new, $147. And that included a case and cable and tax. $147. Of course, back then, you know, he bought this in right, I think in January of '60 or something like that. It wasn't. It was right after the first of the year sometime. And my mother still has he had it, but she does. She still has the receipt for it from the store. That's how I know exactly what it cost. Let me ask my phone. Hold on. It's one good thing about some modern technology. We'll just round it up to $150. I know it was 147 something, but $150 in 1960 is equivalent to what in 2026?
Adjusting inflation, $150 in 1960 is approximately to $642.51 in 2026, reflecting a cumulative pricing of about $995 over 66 years. This means that the purchasing power of $150 in 1960 is similar to that of $1,642.51 today.
Wow. Not bad for a kid right out of high school. So yeah, this really needs cleaned. I'm gonna pull the pick guard off, even though it's not really guard, it's just there for decoration. I want to take the pickup out just to look at it. Take these out. Now it's funny because you'll see these on Reverb. Hold on. You don't get the insert. They'll just have like two of these, and they'll say, you know, whatever 1959 Gibson tailpiece post, and they'll want like $600 for them, and they sell. That's what's the crazy part. Still got the thumb bleeders, or what I call them, the pointers. I remember as a kid, you go turn that real quick and it'd slice your thumb open. I'm sure that's probably the original. That's got to be unfaded color underneath there. Ow. The heck was that? All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah. I'll put it back. Oh, that's dirty. Clean all that up. Clean all this up. So, this was his. He had a good friend of his, and you want to talk about good friend of his. They went to school together, and this guy played anything Chet Atkins played. And this guy never took a lesson. He was one of those guys that was a natural player. He could hear two purple. Wow. He could hear something one or two times and then play it. The guy's name was Joe Chimney. And his daughter was 2 years younger than me. So we kind of grew up together. And Joe they used to come down here on Saturday nights. And my parents would always have like a Saturday dinner with a couple of their close friends. And they would all sit, play guitar. And Joe played this, I don't know how many times. Then he ended up going and buying the same one, but the TV yellow version of it, which is even more rare. Hey, John. Anybody else jumped in while I wasn't paying attention? I apologize. Okay, let's see what we got. Oh, there's the original color. Huh. The next set in. I don't want to. Let me just use some glass cleaner on this. And something else about this, it's never had a busted headstock, which is amazing considering what all I put this through. And then Cole, worse than I was. Well, of course, Cole was the grandchild, so the grandkids get away with more than the kids did. I remember stuff I get yelled at for. Then, let him go. Like, I remember getting screamed at for that. Yeah, well, that was before. Like if I would have drugged this around like Cole did. It was fun and it was interesting. So that's clean. Now, here's the issue. Some gaps in there. Or like the glue, the neck's not moving. It hasn't moved ever. But I don't want to put any glue in it to change it. So because the neck is still stable, I'm going to leave it alone. I would like to get the dirt out of it. So, let's see what we got here. I don't think this pick guard or this pickup's ever been off this guitar ever. I know the only thing my dad ever did to it was just change the strings. I don't even want to clean. Initially I thought, I'll clean those up. I don't want to do that. Wow. Wipe that off. I do remember probably being right before 10, so 8 or 9 years old. Dad would show me the new chord of the lesson, and I would be practicing it. And I do remember as a kid sticking the flathead in there and turning those. Didn't know what they did. Wow. Original wax. Oh, by the way, the wax I think will be here Wednesday or Thursday. Just get the dust off of it. Kind of neat looking. It's funny because it's bolted to the plate through the bottom instead how they are now, where they go through this way. Yeah, this guitar is, matter of fact, right? Okay. Oh, there it is. Say, I just had the phone here. I think. See, let me see. There might be. That one. I know I have one somewhere. Huh? Yeah. Hold on, guys. I'm just looking for a certain photo here that I know I had, but I may have deleted it when I deleted a bunch of photos a month ago. But all the ones I had on here, I put on the computer, then deleted a bunch off here. So I still have it. It just wouldn't be on here. I think it is. Dang it. it was me probably around 66, 67, sitting on the floor with holding this. That's what I said. You know, my parents have had this guitar longer than they had me. Must have took it off here. Dang it. And it's, well, there was actually two photos. One was kind of rough, and the other one was pretty decent. And you could see this thing still looked like brand new. Yep, it's not on here. Dang it. Nope. With the other old one. Actually, my grandfather's acoustic. Nope, not on here. Dang it. I thought that'd be fun to show. Just the fact that, you know, 61 years later, me and the same exact guitar is still here. Oh well. Yeah, so this is what I did with Cole. Because that's basically what they did to me. Just with this. Oh, wait, no, here it is. All right, let me move this out of the way. Here you go. I was like 18 months here holding this guitar. That's not the better picture, though. There's one that's a lot better. So this right here is an excellent reason why this guitar does not have a price on it. Right there, because of stuff like that. Oh, crap, that's right. You guys are the other way now. There you go. So, yeah, this guitar does not have a price on it because of this right here. And it never will. That original paper that's hard as a rock. All this back together. Just wanted to get all the dust off of it, cleaned. And there's home videos of their dinner parties with, you know, everybody playing guitars. End up like what the one song they used to sing all the time was that something about overlooked an orchid or something like that. So music has been UC 450-1. Music has been a major part of my life for my entire life. I grew up listening to Sinatra, Dean Martin, Tony Bennett, Beatles, Elvis, Johnny Cash, all that. But yeah, I don't want to. I remember, probably 25 years ago, at least 25 years ago, 25 to 30 years ago, my dad was talking to me about refinishing this, clean it all up and refinish it, and I kept telling him no. Nope, just let it go. We're not going to touch it. And he always told my mom, if someone offered him enough, he'd sell it. So the guy that offered 12 grand for it was a couple of years ago. Dad was in bad shape. And I remember going up to his house, and he was, not with it very much. And I remember telling him, I said, "Hey, Dad," I said, "there's a guy who wants to buy the old Gibson." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, you give $12,000 for it." He's like, "Sell it to him." I'm like, "No, Dad." Because all he remembered was paying the $147. There it is. Say, I knew I had a brush in here somewhere. I don't want to use a metal brush. That crap. I don't even want to polish this stuff up. Just get the dust and dirt, a little bit of corrosion. Now I can see that. A couple little drops of oil on that. Put that back in there. Yeah, because he even talked about sending this back to Gibson or going down to Nashville and taking it down there and letting them refinish it, because he was under the assumption, well, if you took it back to Gibson and let them do it, then it's still a factory finish. And I said, yes, but it's not the original factory finish, Dad. I said, that's what makes the difference. Oil on just a few drops on those threads just to keep season up. Garguts, what's up? Well, not a new project. It's my dad's owned this guitar longer than they've had me, so just needed a good cleaning without making it look like it's been cleaned. Brushing the dust off and getting some of the corrosion out of it. I'm going to polish the frets and clean the fretboard. That's better there. Can I fix basses too? Yes. Bass, guitars, painted violins and cellos. Like take that out of there for a minute. See if I can get some oil on that, because that looks like it's starting to corrode. I know it ain't going to be metric. You know why I tried that? This probably isn't small enough. Nope. Okay. Okay. These will fit. My God, that does fit. Look at the corrosions coming out with that screw. I know that's never been out. I don't even think he knew those were in there. Head of the screws corroded, but I'm not going to mess with that. I mean, a little bit rusty, yeah, that's fine. My main goal is to get a little oil on the thread so it doesn't corrode and become locked. Not like I said, I'm not even cleaning that out there. Yeah, I don't think he ever knew these were even here. I don't remember him ever adjusting them. But he never played past the 7th or 8th fret anyhow, so he would never know if it was intonated or not. Yeah, when they're this old, you gotta. Oh, look at all that. You gotta take them apart like this. Do a little maintenance to them without actually, I mean, nothing I'm doing is going to affect the value of it. This guitar will end up going to coal. So sorry about that. That hurt you guys' ears. Keep forgetting I got that mic there. So again, Lucas Extreme Duty Gunwale. Can't beat it. Which model is this? This is a 59 Les Paul Jr. All right, there's that. Those are small frets. Narrow. And I probably only got one narrow. Or it might be medium. I'm not going to use a rough one. I'm going to do like 3,000. This is why I started making these longer or wider, so you didn't have to do this. Because I hate wasting the sandpaper. Go with medium. These are like almost in between. But yeah, I mean, this guitar still plays great. Action's extremely low still. It always was. I think that's actually where I learned to like low action was because of this guitar. No, it's got extremely low action. And I mean, they're wide, they're like medium fret width, but they're low. So like if someone was playing punk rock and just nothing but bar chords, this would be like the perfect guitar for them. Original P90. Everything on this baby's all original. Sorry, I hate hitting that microphone, guys. Sorry. Just gonna kind of like with 3,000 and probably 7, then 10, and that's it. Yeah, this is very I don't even know how to explain it. You believe when I was 12, started my first band at age 12 called Ace 2, again after Kiss and Ace. We were Ace 2 because we heard there was a band called Ace already, so we were Ace 2. He actually let me take this out and play at a couple parties. Kids our age, like birthday parties and stuff. I think those look better already. I mean, the neck is it's a set neck, as you can see. It's solid as can be. It doesn't flex or move, but it's like I guess the glue is right here on this very edge is gone. not all the way down, just on the top section. But I don't want to mess with it, put any glue in it, because the glue they used back then was not the glue we have today. So I don't want to do anything that's going to keep, make it not original. But like I said, I just kind of wanted to do some maintenance on it. That's all. Get it going a little bit better. And then if I get this done tonight in time, I have the Leo James Strat kit that Bay Area Rich, thank you. That I have all fender parts on, including I put that Fender Mexican neck on it, Rich. But the last 3 frets are kind of giving me the same note. So I need to work on that a little bit. Down out of the way. Yeah, you talking about this, Peggy? This is actually the neck. And that must be from hammering it in place, I'm assuming, there and there. 2 different hammers. And it's got the glue clear to the top all the way around except for this about 1.5 inch area right here. And the glue, I mean, you can still see it down there, a little bit, but so it's not missing altogether. It's just this very top section. About 1/16 of an inch right there. So like I said, though, the neck's sturdy as can be. It's not moving at all, so I'm not really worried about it, but I don't want to throw Titebond glue in there because this is the glue that they ended up had to have quit using. I don't know if it was in the late 60s or somewhere time in the 70s. Because I guess as it was drying, from what I remember, is once it's dry, it's fine. But as it was drying, it was bad for your health. She did. I think it was white. I don't think it was an old one like this. It was, like a 70s model. Then I know in the 80s she ended up getting another one, like her own custom model. And so obviously, that was the 80s model. And the neck on this is, it's not bad. It's not like the Les Paul neck, so that's. I just could never attach or I could never connect with the Les Paul. I think there are some of them are gorgeous, but they just never felt right in my hands in playing them. I owned a couple. I got rid of them. Then I found out today, my one, Rich, if you're still here, remember about a month ago, I sent you a photo of that black Charvel Model 2 87 said it was just like the one I'd had. And when I was talking to you about that, I couldn't remember exactly for sure what happened to that guitar. And then a memory on Facebook today from the very first guitar player that played with me in my band. There was a picture of me holding that black Charvel and him holding his SG. It looked like the one Angus Young plays. And he made the comment, and it was from like 1986, that photo, or 87, that photo was. And he's like, man, I wish I still had that SG. And I put, yeah, I wish I still had that exact Model 2. And then another guy who hung around us back then, he wrote on it and said, hey, that was my very first Charvel. I bought that when Ron traded it in. So I must have traded in at the store on something else, and then the guy named Tom went and got it. So I texted him if he still had it. He said no. Scrape anyhow. So yeah, frets are a little war right there. Here, your first 5. I don't want to do a fret level and a recrown on it. It's still playable now. I just kind of want to clean them up a little bit. Clean the fretboard. That's even the original nut on this thing. Okay, Garguts. I got Laz's guitar done. He's got it back. So this Thursday is supposed to be not the actual giveaway show, but hopefully he's played it and figured it out. And Rob from Tessie Switch is also supposed to be on the show Thursday. I want to ask Rob why he suggested that god-awful freeway ultra 15-mile wire switch for that thing. All right, so it's the only medium I have. Take this stuff back out and I'm going to put 7,000 in it real quick. That was narrow. And then go over this real quick with the 7,000. Then this is done. I clean the fretboard. I wish, what's happening is, Brian, I wish Rob would donate some kill switches to the channel for the project builds for those people who can't afford it. That would be pretty cool, because I do know there's been times where I've been at the store and, I've had one of my guitars there to show whoever at the store wants to see them. And the people have looked at it because, oddly enough, nobody at that store has a kill switch on their guitar. So they end up playing it like crazy. And then when I usually go there, it's to take a guitar for somebody. And they're like, oh, does this have a kill switch? I'm like, no. I'd like to get handful of them, 6 or 10, just have them here. So when that happens, then I'll have a switch to put on it for somebody. Yes, Garga. As a matter of fact, that's what I put on Laz's guitar. It's the arcade button. And I think that might even be what they call it. Yeah, the newer version. Come on. The newer version of these, you don't have to take this bar out. I'm trying like crazy to get my freaking printer to print it. Now today, they updated the software for the PC to run it, and it wouldn't run on the old one, so I had to update it. Then I had to go update the software on the printer itself. Now I can't get the printer or the computer to talk to the printer. I'm like, are you kidding me? Why can't they just leave stuff alone? Because I'm hoping now that I had to put the whole new software in with changes, that might kind of self-correct the issue these were having where the very end of them was messed up. Yeah, this is 7,000 grit here. I'm not going to do any more than this. It's fine. You know, if I was to level this and recrown them, yeah, then I'd go clear up to 10,000. But I look at it as, you know, those are more from my dad than me. They start right here, so he stayed right in this area more than anything. Yeah, I wonder if John still has that picture. It was his memory that came up with that Charvel. Hold on one second. Let me go to his page. Here it is. This was 1987. So there's the Charvel, Rich. My God, that was 39 years ago. That's the SG. He sold that right not long after that. Upside down again? God dang it. I'm used to the camera being the other way. Sorry. I forgot I changed it. But that's an 87 made in Japan Charvel Model 2. And when Tom posted, he got it after I traded in. I sent him a text real quick. Matter of fact, I think his first message might be on there. Yeah. That was my first Charvel. I bought it used after Ron traded it in. Dang it, this way. Uh-huh. Now, if I had all the guitars that I ever had and sold, we'd be 200 plus. Because for the longest time, I don't know if I did that one. For the longest time, I didn't want to. I never wanted to get rid of them. Well, I only got like 60 here. I mean, if I use the other side, the side that looks like a log cabin hanging on the walls, and I could put them there, but I'm not allowed. You know, what's that? Happy wife, happy life. So you can see absolutely no Dremel tool, no messy paste cleaner. It's just sandpaper. Well, there was a time, Peggy, when she wouldn't have either. I found some photos of her coming to our shows, decked out in the 80s leather and lace. It was funny because anytime something happened on the road, I would, obviously there weren't, well, there were cell phones back then, but they were, what, $8,000 and $100 a minute or something like that. And so I would call from the hotel, or we'd stop at a payphone or a restaurant. Like when our singer brought the girl to the hotel room, and I woke up that morning with her naked, curled up on me, threw her out, threw him over the banister into the pool, and then I went right in the hotel room and called her and told her what happened, so she heard it from me and didn't hear some wild story. But there were times she was at the shows, and especially after we did the record deal, where signed some butt parts and chest parts. She never got mad at it. She knew that was all part of it. So, like I said, been together total now, married 39 years, but like 40 and a half years together. Good night, man. Thanks for hanging out, man. I remember she was there one day when we were sitting at the table, and the girl come up, pulled her shirt down, wanted me to sign her chest, and I didn't know what to do. And Beth just handed me the pen, the Sharpie marker. I was like, well, that's pretty cool, actually. Never once complained. All right. Clean this. Now you're really going to see where the where is in this. There. I am a firm believer that she saved my life. I really am. Yeah, the pool ran under the balcony. We were on the second floor, and the pool ran underneath. Our room had a balcony, and the pool went under it. And I shoved her out. Oop, I hit that Fred. I shoved her out of the room, and then one of the other guys threw her clothes out in the hallway. So she'd run down the hallway picking up her clothes. And then Tim, at the time, the singer then, he come running out, was mad, and looked like he was going to swing at me. So I just grabbed him, and just his motion went like that. He went right over the balcony and landed in like 12 foot of water. I knew the pool was there, but well, there's all kind of stories like that. I can't really tell on here. That happened somewhere in Northern Virginia. Yeah, that was the night I passed out from heat exhaustion. And they finished the show without me, and I got in a cab, sent me to the hotel room. So I was the only one there, and I had gotten a shower and grabbed a Pepsi or something and had an old movie on TV, and I was the only one there when I fell asleep. And I woke up, and there was this girl curled on me. I'm like, what? What? I'm trying to think what happened. What? So I shoved her away, and then Tim was on the other side of her and sat up and goes, what? And I kicked them both out of the bed. No, it was an old monster movie. Heck, it might even been Godzilla. I am a fan of all the old. Wow, this fretboard has never been scraped because I'm actually taking a top layer off this pearl, which is nice because now it's smooth. Well, here you can feel them. Now they're. I'm not taking a lot off, but just. Hey, Garguts, if you download Pluto TV, which is free, you just create an account. There's no money charged, no credit card, no nothing. And they have the Universal Monsters channel on it 24/7. Dracula, Frankenstein, all that stuff. Wolfman meets Frankenstein. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. The Mummy, all that stuff. Abbott and Costello, everything, all the original Universal, and clear up to, modern day. Pluto TV, it's free, and it's the Universal Monster Channel. Okay. Sorry about that. Thanks, guys. That and I told Greasy they also have all the Star Trek series, each have their own channel, even though I only watched the original series one. It's just constant 24/7, man. Where you watch Creature from the Black Lagoon, Revenge of the Creature, The Creature Walks Among Us, which is the movie that one they should have never made. The Tarantula movie. Abbott and Costello Meet the Killer. Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy. Abbott and Costello Meet the Invisible Man. All that stuff's on there. And it's all free. They just go in rotation. It's just they play them until they get to the end of the list and they start all over. So there's that. All right. It frets in a couple places, which I messed up. I usually do the fretboard first, then the frets. This is why. With this, though, you don't have to worry about breaking out the polish and the wool pads and the Dremel tool. It's a Pluto TV, Pluto TV. It's free. They got all kinds of stuff. You can watch All in the Family, History Channel, Ask This Old House, This Old House. You can watch the all the old Bob Barker Price is Right, which is funny because they'll show a new car and they list everything on it, and it's like sticker value $2,700. Like, man, you pay more for that for rims now. All that stuff's on there. Mod. Frasier, Cheers, all the old stuff is on there. Oh yeah, you'd win a car on The Price is Right, and if you didn't have the money for the taxes, you didn't get to take the car. Fret dust. What that? Where is my? Oh, it's over here. The Howard's Feed and Wax. That's what I put on the fretboards. Dang it. Keep remembering. Or keep forgetting I turned the camera around. Get this on Amazon for like $13. I've had this for 2 years and I'm only down to here. So. Oh yeah, they even have the Dean Martin roast on there. There's horror channels. You can watch the old scary movies. And like the Friday the 13th and Scream. All that stuff's on there. It's all free. And then you got to do is just create the account, and there's no charge. And you can save channels to your favorites. Oh, yeah, Don Rickles was the best. I think they do show some wrestling, yeah. There's all kinds of, there's like, 24/7 news channels. There's comedy, you name it, just look it up, Pluto TV. Johnny Carson's on there. The Dean Martin roast. Foster Brooks and Don were my two favorite. Like when they roasted Frank Sinatra, that was funny. So now, hopefully this is playable for another 67 years. It's back on. Yeah, he would. I think if Dad would have been here when that guy put 12 grand on the bar, I think he would have took it. And I'm not going to lie, it wasn't easy to say no. $12,000 in $100 bills sitting right there, just that far away from my hand. The case for this rotted away. It was like a fake alligator skin covered on a real thin cardboard. What this case was, and it just disintegrated. But many hours as a kid and into my, well, even I'd say probably up to age 20, I played this. There was a time we were on the road. The bus driver was sleeping, and Billy, the lead singer of Grim Jack, come and woke me up. And then I think it was me, Billy, their bass player, and maybe our singer, which would have been Tim at that time. He's like, hey, I want to go get breakfast. This was early. And there was a Denny's not too far from us, but we didn't have a vehicle. So the only thing we had was an actual tour bus. So Billy goes and gets the keys from the driver's pants pocket, and he was sleeping in the hotel room. And I think it was, Billy, their bass player, which was Paul, me, and Tim. So there was 4 of us on the bus, and Billy driving. Now, those guys came, they were from New York City, so Billy was used to driving in traffic, but he wasn't used to driving a bus. He ended up going down the wrong way street and about got us hit head on. And I remember Paulie, their bass player, like screaming that we were going to die. So and by the time we got to Denny's, Billy had actually figured out how to drive a bus. So the ride back wasn't that bad, but the ride there was, I think that's when I started getting my first gray hair. All for breakfast. And when we got back, the driver was awake, and man, was he upset. Never occurred to us that, we could have called a cab or 2. Yeah, we did. We had a good breakfast, Peggy. And the funny part was, the waitress we had, she never charged us for the breakfast because we gave her such a good time, had her laughing. And then, okay, why am I losing stuff? There it is. So she wouldn't give us the bill, and I think we ended up leaving the. I think we ended up tipping her $150 between all 4 of us. Figuring she'd get in trouble for not paying the bill, but or not charging it for that matter. And we had her laughing, She thought it was great. we asked, we're like, hey, give us the bill. And she's like, no, I'm not charging you guys for this. She didn't even want to take a tip, so we left it on the table. I assume she got it, but it was at Denny's. Because first question, we walk in, she's like, can I help you guys? You guys need, anything? The first thing I asked her was, well, you can answer a question for me. She's like, yeah. Thinking, I was going to ask something about the breakfast options. And I said, you guys are always open, right? She's like, yep, we never close. I said, then why is there a lock on the door? And I knew that couldn't have been the first time she heard that, but she laughed like crazy. So it was fun. Like I said, a lot of good times. A lot of good times. Yeah, standard Gibson scale. I've always done this too. Put them in there like that, and they're easy to throw away. And you don't have to pick them up off the table or floor or whatever. Old habits are hard to break. And we pulled up in the bus at a show in the peg gets bent. We were able to get hotel rooms instead of staying on the bus, and so we had 3 rooms. Well, 5 rooms total. 2 rooms for the crew, and then 3 rooms the band, both bands, and then 1 room was for. So there's 2 rooms for each. 1 room for each band. That's 2 rooms. Then there was a room for the manager and the bus driver, and then 2 rooms for the road crews. And we walked. I don't even know. We went somewhere. Tell you how long ago it was. We may have went to a Kmart or something, and come back in the room. Walked in, and then there was our manager and our singer sitting on the bed with a girl tied to the bed, and she was having them smack her with a whip, or not a whip, riding crop. Like, I just walked back out and went back out to the bus, slept in the bus. I had the bedroom to myself that night in the bus. Yeah, it was weird, Peggy. So I said there was a bunch of And our that one's kind of bent too. Um, our other guitar player besides me, he's like, see, look at that. I'm like, what? He goes, all these girls, they're all whores. Should they come here and do this stuff with any of us? And God knows how many bands they've done this to. I was like, well, why is that? Goes, well, then they go home to their boyfriends, their husbands. He was throwing a fit about it. And now that I think about it, I don't think he ever did marry. Oh yeah, you wouldn't want to do that. Well, that's why I said my wife saved me, because I'm pretty sure if it wouldn't have been for her, I'd have caught sexually transmitted AIDS by somebody. So when I say she saved my life, I mean she really did. And my daughter will tell you, my dad was a man whore, because she's heard all the stories. And again, I was, 100 pounds less than I am right now. At that time, had a Harley, wore leather pants, leather vest, no shirt. Played guitar in a heavy metal band. And to think that my wife was just not quite 17 years old when I first started dating her. And then 10 days after she turned 19, she gave birth to Cole. Okay, where's that at? But yeah, she was. I'm not kidding. Oh, doing this the wrong way. God dang it, thinking about loading for Floyd. She saved my life. I know she did. I don't think I'd be here now. It wasn't if I hadn't been with her. Well, the whole reason, the very first reason that I even wanted in the band was to meet girls. And you saw the girls at the concerts yelling for the singer or guitar player. And then willingly lifting their tops up. What guy wouldn't want to do that? At least a straight guy, anyhow. So like I said, saw a lot. Some I can't unsee, unfortunately. A lot of it was strange, but it was all good times. And as far as I know, nobody got hurt, other than some broken hearts here and there. See how much easier that is to throw that away? So yeah, some broken hearts here and there, and a couple stolen pieces of equipment and guitars. That hurt more than anything. Especially my Charvel 3DR Predator in lava crackle, not just orange. Actually looked orange and red and yellow like lava. Let's see. Lower the bottom up a little bit. or up, lift the bottom up a bit. But yeah, I mean, we had fun. I'm not going to lie. We had a lot of fun. And it was a very good learning experience. No comment on that, Peggy. See, I was only in the band for two years before I got with her. Then I was the only one that was married. So that's why I was the one ended up calling home and writing songs, working on the guitars. I almost had the A already there. And occasionally, if we were around here, she would, Cole would stay with my parents. She would meet us in one of the cities somewhere. She'd hang out for a couple days and come back home or go up to New York. That's where she's from. Not yet. I haven't looked at it yet. Let me stretch these out real quick. Well, like I said, when I did the show with Poison, those girls went to high school with Brett, and they came to the show, and I was standing out back, and they come up to me because I had, I had the backstage pass and stuff on because we were playing, and they asked me to tell Brett that they were there, and they gave me their names. And they're like, "Oh, we went to high school with him." And I said, "All right." Well, I went and told him. He's like, "Screw him." Well, he didn't say. He said, "F him." They didn't want to talk to me in high school. I ain't going to talk to them now. But it was like, oh, they couldn't wait, to. And I will tell you this, and this, I didn't believe it. I did not believe it. So what they did, they gave me and probably 3 other guys backstage passes, handful of backstage passes, literally. I probably had 30 of them. And they said, go ahead, go out back, because, all the girls were out in the back waiting, getting on and off the bus and all that stuff. They're like, go out back, hold them up, and yell that you got free backstage passes. I'm like, okay. He's like, no. He said, you've never been on that side of it before, have you? I said, no. He's like, okay, well, go do that. Yeah. And I understood what our other guitar player was talking about. There was this beautiful redhead come up to me, and she's like, I want to pass. I'm like, well, okay. Then she grabs my hand and starts pulling me. I said, where are we going? She goes, to my van. I'm like, for what? And I mean, I knew what she wanted. I was just kind of joking. She's like, for the pass. And I said, here. I just handed it to him. But then you could see, I mean, and I started thinking, man, you know, he's kind of right. All these girls are here doing anything and everything to get a pass. And that's something else a lot of people don't realize, that all these groupies that get in to see the band, they went through the crew first to get to the band. So it was interesting, eye-opening. To see what they would do. And you sit there and think about, you know, and some of these girls had wedding rings on. It's like, man, and you're going to go back to your husband after you do this. So I could kind of see where he came from, but I wasn't going to be that cynical for my entire life like he was. Sadly, I haven't talked to him for probably 10 years now, because I don't know what happened to him, but I'm also, his brother played for us too, and they don't get along. They don't even talk. And the last time I talked to his brother, I said, how is your brother doing? He's like, I don't talk to him still. He's like, but if you saw him, you would not recognize him. I'm like, why? I guess he has some kind of cancer. He's like, now I don't wish him any pain or stuff like that. He's, you know, I don't want that. But I don't care to ever talk to him again. So I don't know what happened between them. But yeah, it was, I took that off after I stretched him. Yeah, but yeah, you know, it was, I could see, you know, that was an eye opener. I mean, you know, because you know, the other guys in the band, after I was married, you know, girls would come up after the shows and invite you to their house for a party. Yeah, what would happen, Lewis, is they get pregnant by whoever, and then the boyfriend or husband is told it's theirs, and there you go. But the mom and all her friends know that's not their husband's baby. So yeah, it was an eye-opening experience. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of surprises. And you know, I came from a little town, so it was, there we go. Ready to hang back on the wall for another 50 some years. You know, 61, I'm midlife. I'm going to live to 122. So, but yeah, it was definitely fun. And some cities were more fun than others. So, you know, it just all But you just, I mean, it's really surprising what some of these women did and then go back to their boyfriends, their fiancés, or husbands after they were shared like whatever. I do that now for Faith and Failure and a band called Bold Action. I do all the guitars and basses. So it's a total of maybe between everybody 20 some. Well, I do it if they're playing around here, I go to the show. If not, they come here like a week before. And there's been days where they've dropped off 14 guitars and need them back in 2 days, so I'm basically up all night doing them. And there's always at least 3. So if something does happen and I'm not there, they still have 2 other ones. So yeah, I do it all the time. I ended up doing it for my own band only because I didn't trust anybody else. And then after I kept doing my own, they're like, well, why don't you just do this one? So I ended up doing my whole band stuff. So that is on there. Good to go. Now let me grab this one. So yeah, it's interesting, you know. But would I do it on the road for, I don't know, I might. I love doing this. That's the whole thing. I mean, you'd be surprised the nights I'm sitting here till literally 5 in the morning working on guitars. So let me get this off here for a minute and see. Oh, it's so we gotta go from here down. Everything else is fine. This is your old neck, Rich. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, you can see it that way. So, try a couple things first. Fendar. Is that a 5? No, you know what? That's not. That's a 3/16. What am I thinking of? That's going to be too short. Yeah, I do it. You know, I just love doing this. Come on, get in there. Well. I mean, I think guitars in general Now you all know me from over the past few years. I don't like them tore up or anything like that. And that's fine. I mean, to each his own. But to me, they're more than. Dang it. Okay. So it should be that one. Was that not reaching in there? But I look at him as like well, almost like a work of art, basically. There we go. Try something here. Just for giggles before I go tearing into this. Never have too many guitars. I just we you know I don't like getting rid of gear. Yeah. Okay. I don't like getting rid of gear in general. So because and the simple truth is, I had bought, there's a time where, you save and scrimp and everything to get something, and then eventually something happens where you got to sell some stuff. And then you always think, well, I'll get that back someday, and someday never comes. I mean, now the Predator, the 3DR Predator, Lava Crackle, that was stolen from a show. So I can't do anything about that. Other than wish to God I had it back. And I can't get one now for under $2,500. Well, somewhere between $2,000, $2,000 to $3,000, depending on what shape it's in. And the ESP, that one I sold, and I had a good reason to sell it. So, but I always thought I'd get another one back. And the fact that I only found one yellow one in 33 years, and it was like $3,000, and it was kind of in rough shape. So again, that's now the Charvels, babies. The Model 2 Charvels, yeah, I can still get those. They're coming down in price now. The people were asking $2,000 for them. I paid $750 for them new in the late 80s. But I don't know where that went now. Well, I found out I didn't know it at the time though, Peggy, but I found out that color yellow my Charvel was they only made 20 of them worldwide. Had I known that, I would have sold something else. But I didn't know that at the time. So 33 years, I found one other one, but it was obviously it had been used and not really taken that good care of. Matter of fact, I probably would have needed to repaint it. But I think it was like 26 or 2,900 for it. There's a blue one, a real pretty blue one, and it's beat up like crazy, and the guy's asking $5,000 for it. Now, my daughter at one time checked with ESP about making another one for me. Same color and all to my original specs because I ordered that. I wanted the wider neck, everything. And that was probably, maybe 15 years ago, 13 years ago. And at that time, it was going to be almost $8,000. So that's why I don't want to get rid of what I have now. Because it is hard to get some of them back, unfortunately. And it sucks because I was the only one in this area for almost 2 years that even had an ESP. And everybody knew it. Let me see. Turn this some more. So it needs to come up. And then the second one was our other guitar player at the time. I took him up to Canton Music, and he lucked out and bought the Kamikaze, George Lynch, a neon Kamikaze, and he actually got one of the 4 they had already built for George. Now we're up too far. So, yeah, they had 4. They told him it was going to be a while to get his. And then the owner or the manager or / owner of the Canton Music Center had worked for ESP at one time. And he called and then called me back and said, hey, bring your buddy up to get his guitar. And it was supposed to be, it was like, it was going to be a few months away. This only was like less than 2 weeks. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, well, he said they had 4 on hold for George that they built, George Lynch, and he didn't need all 4 of them at one time. So George approved them to give one of his, or one of those 4, to Mike. So I don't know what they did, what they may have done special to it for George that you probably wouldn't get just ordering one. But Mike bought that brand new, $1,800. Now they're selling used for over $5,000. And I'm sure he probably still has it somewhere. If this don't work, then I'll just have to take the neck off and go through a leveling process on it. But yeah, you see, and he had the original. If you look at the neon ones now, or the newer ones, or even from probably the 90s, this was an 88, and it had the actual banana headstock, where after that, they end up being like a kind of like a shark tooth type thing. So one side's cut out like a jagged edge, and those ones weren't as popular. But that's what, even if you get one today, I think that's the same headstock that's on it. So, all right, I'm take the neck off. So yeah, I'm sure he still has it, because he ended up becoming a physical therapist, so he hasn't played in a band in probably 30 years. But knowing how he was, I guarantee you he still got it, and it's probably sitting in the case, and it probably still looks like it's never been played. Because he was the same way about his guitars as I was with mine. And when we ended up getting roadies via the record company, those guys knew you didn't throw the guitars around. You didn't screw with nothing. And I always checked all of them, everybody in the band's guitars before the show. Then those guys would lock them up in the case. Well, I don't know if they locked them, but they'd have them up in the case, and nobody touched them until showtime. And then when it come time during the show to switch guitars, our road manager is the only one that would. He'd actually come to the side of the stage and hand him take the one we were playing and hand us a new one. The guys, their actual roadies wouldn't touch him. They were scared to death. That's crazy, Peggy. So I've always been very very firm believer on taking care of the guitars. It's just, take care of your car takes care of you. Take care of your tools take care of you. Take care of your guitars take care of you. Simple logic. That works. So, just all depends how late we get into. Wow, going on 3 hours. I'll take this neck off. Then it'll be about, let me use this. But yeah, it's interesting to see how different people treat guitars. Like my buddy over in Moundsville, he's literally got more than me, but he's got every one of them hanging on. He's probably got close to, I bet he might have close to 200 guitars now, but they're all hanging in the house. They're all hanging in the house. He's got, you go, even in the bathrooms, in the kitchen, dining room, hallways, everything. Every room he has, and he also has a room that is basically an arcade. He's got real pinball machines, real video games in there, a couple slot machines, all that stuff. And he has all that there, and and I'm not kidding you, I mean every freaking room and wall in that house has guitars hanging off of it. He's got one whole wall of Ace Frehley guitars, one whole wall of Paul Stanley guitars, a whole section of Gene Simmons basses. You got everything. It's just everything. And it's all on every wall and every, up the steps, everything. It's the house is decorated, and he can't even play that well. I mean, he actually, you know what's funny? A lot of people can't play and sing at the same time. So he can play and sing and figure songs out, but he's just not that good of a player. But he loves them. If not, to him, they're art pieces. So he's like, people spend $50,000 on a painting to hang on the wall. He's like, so I'm just going to hang guitars on the wall. And they're all playable. A bunch of them I've had over here and worked on. But yeah, I'm not kidding you. I bet he's got 200 guitars in his house. And I mean that, and he's a big Kiss fan. So a bunch of Kiss stuff in there, including like the 3-foot high dolls and all that stuff. He's got all that in there. It's all on display. The house is like a freaking museum. I told him one day I want to come over and film. He's like, told me I was more than welcome. Garga, let's see. What strings I usually put on? Depends on what they want. A lot of people will send strings with their guitar. So we're flat. And these three here. Yeah, they'll send what they want on them. Because then, I mean, I usually do anywhere from 9 to 9.5 to 48s, 42s, 46s, 48s, occasionally 50. So these two need it right away. Richard, don't look like you ever played this guitar. There's absolutely no fret wear anywhere. 2 more and the whole thing gets level. Yeah, I asked Rodney one day, I said, hey, I need to come over. I need to come over and film some of that. And he's like, sure. Well, there's 4 in a row. So I will be doing that. But yeah, Rodney told me I could do it, so maybe I'll do that. Well, go see the surgeon on Wednesday, and Dave is supposed to be here Thursday, from Thursday to Monday. Maybe I'll do it while Dave's here, because him and Rodney get along pretty good. They're right here on this side. In the middle. Good night, Lewis. Thank you, sir. Wow. So basically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're just going to do the whole. Do a whole fret level and crown. I'm not going to do it tonight. Got her all marked. Got her all marked up, ready to go. Dave was my first bass player. He's 6'8". He was supposed to be here 2 weeks ago. Hurt his foot. Then was going to come up this past week, and then he realized, he called me up Wednesday when he was supposed to be here Thursday and said, dude, I forgot it's Easter. So he moved it to this weekend. All right, so that's good. We will level those, crown them. But because this is a finished neck, that Rich, or I don't even know if Rich is still here. I don't think he ever played this guitar. There's no wear on the shine, and just right here, these 2 frets right here have a little, just a hint on like the D, A, and E. Everything else looks like it's never been touched. But we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 frets. So my rule is 5 or more, you do the whole neck. Especially when they're, like separated like this. It suck to do this and have to come down and do that. And try to blend them all in. So just do all of them. So good to go. That gives me something to do tomorrow. And then Wednesday, so I see the surgeon. Then I think Cole was coming down Wednesday. He lives 3 hours away, or just under 3, like 2 hours and 50 minutes. And he comes down after he drops his wife off at work. Then he'll come here. Then I do a emergency guitar repair marathon, and then he usually leaves to go back home about 1 or 2 in the morning. So Wednesday night, Cole may be here. I know he said he was going to try. Oh, wait. What happened now? I'm missing chat. Okay, here we go. Yeah, Wednesday. My appointment's at 8. And he usually doesn't get here till about 4. I think he drops her off like at 12:30 or something. So I don't know. Wednesday is going to be. I'm going to go live Wednesday regardless. Yeah, I'll go live Wednesday, and I'll be working on something. So, Garguts, are you still here? All right, so we got the Gibson done. Going to fix this issue. This will be good to go. Dang, I just realized I do Monday, I do Tuesday, I do Wednesday, I do Thursday twice, my show, then Laz's. All right, can you hear me now? That is, why is that? Okay, hold on. Hold on, everybody. What is happening is the receiver part of this is dying, so hold on a second. Oh, wait. I wonder if I could plug it in. Or if that's going to, like, create one heck of a noise. Hold on. Okay, can you hear me now? Let me put the head. Oh. Yeah, the receiver part that plugs into the back. The receiver part that plugs into the back of the Rodecaster, the wireless, the battery died on it. Okay, so is Gargut still here? Okay, what I was saying was, for those who have watched me for 3 years, have heard me say over and over and over again that when you mount a Floyd Rose nut to your neck, that I much rather prefer the wait a minute, hold on guys, I'll be right back. Wait a minute. Sorry about that, everybody. Even wireless goes bad. All right. Let me switch the camera over to here. Okay. Yes, Derek, you're right. Now, the biggest part is, do you remember why I prefer that? Hi. I do not like drilling through the back here because that's the weakest part of the neck, and now you're taking 2 sections out of it all the way through. Now, here's why. I was hoping Garguts was still here, but you guys all saw where he said he was sending me a photo. And look where it broke. Up the middle, across, and it's actually coming over this end too. That's not blood, that's ink from the fretboard. So, that's why I do not like holes drilled in the back of the neck. Because how does that make sense? You have this whole neck, and the weakest part on it is right here. And what are we going to do? Hey, let's take 2 big sections all the way through it out. Plus, shave it down some to put a thicker nut on it. Now, Bones is that way because that's how J Frog does them. But I prefer not to do that for that reason right there. So, Derek, let's see. You have a wiring question. Go ahead. What would that be, sir? I mean, think about it. If the guitar falls over, what hits? That way or this way? And where's your weakest point anyhow? Right here. Let alone take out another 1/4 inch down off of it, then drill 2 holes all the way through it, right smack in the middle. That's set up for a failure. I don't care who you are, that's a failure. So you can put it into the top. You're not drilling through. And if you're worried about it coming up or coming out, you can put just a drop of glue in there to hold it in place and never have. I mean, I've hardly ever had to tighten those. Occasionally, yes, but for as many guitars as I have, you would think you do it all the time. But yep, I've seen that way too many times. So there you go, everybody. That's exactly why. So you have a pedal that has a hiss if you play it, and you're wearing headphones. Have you ever heard of, hold on. You might look into something like this. It's here. I went through and did a lot of cleaning on my stuff I had saved, so right here. Plug that in and plug your stuff into that. That might work. I mean, it does help. So but to be honest with you, I am not that familiar with pedals because I never really used them that much. So I just know that works to eliminate hum coming into the amp, out of the amp. So you plug that into the wall and plug your stuff into that, and that does work. I know it because I have one. So that's Amazon. It's $89. Or they have used ones for $80. So why not just spend the $9 to get a brand new one? But yeah, that's what it's called, a Morley Hum Eliminator, or Hum Eliminator Ground Line Voltage Filter. Hum Exterminator. Sorry. And they do work. They really do work. Well, if he's got the headphones plugged into the amp, yes. Because I'm thinking when you plug the headphones in, you're messing a ground up that's circulating through the pedal board and the amp, and that's going to eliminate all the it's going to reground everything properly and eliminate all the extra noise. So it should work with headphones. Am I 100% sure? I don't know. But I will tell you, if you have any noisy amps, that will take care of most of it. And I'm assuming that you're plugging the headphones into the amp also to hear it. So the amp being fixed would take care of the headphones too. Who knows? But it's something to think about, look into it. But yeah, when it comes to pedals, I don't know that much about them because in 85, 84 to 80, 84 to 86, I bought a bunch of them. And then I never used them. I hooked them up a couple times and was getting hums and stuff like that. So I just never used them. I ended up selling. I wish I still had them because now a bunch of them is worth a lot of money. Yeah, so that should clean it up. That should clean it up, at least a lot of it. So yeah, I would, and again, if you get it through Amazon, try it. If it doesn't work, you can always send it back. But I know mine works. So it's something, something to try. That's about all I can tell you because I know from experience that it does work. And the way I'm thinking about it, may be wrong, but if you have that, if that's all grounded and you're plugging into it, then it should also take care of the headphones. So, and again, if it don't work, send it back. Yeah, I went through and cleaned a bunch of stuff off the phone. So, 2, 3. And did everybody who wanted the chart for the capacitors and the Strat 5-way switch in a telly get it? Well, there you go, Derek. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. If I did, tell me now and email me again and I'll get it. But yeah, okay. Yeah, Billy, you were the first one. I remember that. So we'll go another 2 minutes. That'll be 3.5 hours. And I do appreciate everybody for hanging out. Questions, comments, suggestions, whatever, don't matter. I thank everybody for hanging out and spending your evening with me. So apparently I do a show every day but Sunday. Oh, I thought that was a new email. Was it? Well, that is, I have to talk to Cole about that because they go through streaming services for their Faith and Failure stuff, and Bold Action does it too. So I have to get more info on that and find out just exactly how it works and how much it costs to do all that. But if you guys want to hear that one more time before I hang up before I end the show, let me know. I'll play it one more time for you. I'm over here looking at the chat, not just ignoring you guys. We're gonna do it. Yeah, I can do it here. It's not as prominent if I do it this way. Blends in with the background. Okay, we'll play All the King's Men one more time. And this is a completely reworked song from 37 years ago. Well, 38 years ago. It was recorded 37 years ago. And again, Billy, you and I have talked about the Crow movie, and when I heard this beginning, I could just, in my mind, I see him up on the Wait a minute. That first two parts of guitars right there where he has the keyboard and the humming over it, that was not even supposed to be on the song. That was just me just doing something. And we're right there on where it come in, that's where the song was supposed to start. So he left that in and added that to it. All this. The song was supposed to start right there.
In the days of old, lived kings and queens. In a land of dragons, wizards and dreams. Men wore suits of steel, riding stallions of stone, fighting for their honor in a world to call their own. Across the fields of blood, you'll hear the swords clash. You'll hear their shields smash. Though many have fallen, their souls will never die. Just one dreaded listen. You'll hear the dreaded cry. All the king's men, driven from within, fighting to survive, dying their only sin, their only thrills to kill. Shadows stand still, out on the battle plains, their blood begins to spill. Yeah! king's men, driven from within, fighting to survive, dying their only sin, their only thrills to kill, shadows stand still, out on the battleground, their blood begins to spill. Yeah.
What they're saying in the background in that one part, I got no idea. And they may be saying something in German. I can't make it out. All right, everybody. So with that, we are going to end the show tonight. And again, I appreciate everybody for being here. Thank you for hanging out. And apparently I'll see you guys tomorrow. And with that, let my intro, outro. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Here we go. Thank you, Derek.